Hello and welcome to one of Jana Marie Foundation's wellness breaks. My name is Jackie and this is the last Jana Marie Foundation wellness break for the month of May, which has been Mental Health Awareness Month, something very important for Jana Marie Foundation and our community. I want to thank them for having me along this month again, doing these paint-alongs. As always, these videos will be automatically saved in the videos section of the Jana Marie Foundation Facebook page. Also, I have been downloading and uploading them to a YouTube playlist, and I can share that by the end of the day. My regular Facebook page for me is Paint with Jackie, and I'll also be posting there. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I just lost my train of thought. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We've got our little sketch here. I did a really fun sunflower painting with a bunny rabbit yesterday for a Girl Scout group, and I love sunflowers, so I wanted to do that again here. So I've got my canvas ready. I've got my usual paints ready, white, just a little bit of black today, not a whole lot do we need. And the primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. I've got my paper towel ready. I've got my cup of water ready, and I've got my paintbrushes over here. So I'll be starting with the usual flat angled brush, and we'll see what we do later on with some of the smaller details. We'll see what happens, right? Okay, by the way, my usual trusty lamp has died. I'm so sad. So I have this stand that holds my iPhone for recording, and it also has this really cool lamp, and it's not turning on. I'm really sad about it. So I've opened up the shades here, and hopefully we have enough light coming in so we can get a good view. So first step, we're going to start out nice and easy. I'm just going to cover my canvas with white paint. I'm just going to cover that whole thing. Let's see, which brush do I want? I'll use this one. So super simple. I'm just going to grab some paint with my big old brush here, and I'm just going to cover this canvas in white paint. We're going to be doing some blending for our background, so we're just going to go ahead, cover this with a layer of white paint. Doesn't have to be fancy or smooth. We're just prepping our canvas for some blending. I think that'll do. Might want to hold this up into the light, see if I've missed any spots. Okay, so I've got that canvas covered in white paint. Just kind of wiping off any of that excess right on the canvas. So I'm gonna do myself a favor here, and I'm gonna plan ahead. And so in my painting, I've got these two large sunflower blossoms. Okay, this top one here. I mean, if you think about it, it's almost taking up the upper half of the painting, so that's pretty big. And it's kind of centered, but a little off to the left. And then I have this other large one that's almost like taking up a third. So I'm gonna plan that out. Welcome if you're just joining us. Thanks for being here. What I've done so far is I've just covered my canvas in white paint because we're going to get some blend going on in a second. But right now I'm going to plan ahead for these blossoms. So I'm not even going to wipe my brush off. I'm going to go right into that yellow, and I'm going to just give myself a nice big circle of yellow for this sunflower. So that's pretty big, and I'm just gonna fill that in, and that's just gonna give me a plan for where these blossoms will be. So I'm not gonna do the background all over. I'm just gonna plan myself these blossoms so I can avoid covering them in green or blue. And then also with this yellow, I can sketch out where my pot is, my little terracotta pot here. So I'm just gonna just sketching, nothing perfect, and we can change things later. But I think that's where my pot is. Okay, so again, if you're just joining us, I've covered the canvas in white paint, and then just going into some yellow, I'm just very loosely sketching where those blossoms will be because I don't need to cover the entire background first. And then I just sketched out my little potted plant. So just, a little rectangle for the rim, and then a little taper line down. Okay, and I'm just kind of laying things out on the canvas for now. Okay, so now for the background, I'm just gonna play with, I'm not even gonna wash my brush, I'm just gonna play with blue and yellow on my brush and just kind of smudging that all over the background. And depending on what you want, you could have like more of a blue-green over here and then get more green-yellow over here. It's totally up to you. I'm just gonna play and see what happens. So I'm just gonna take my brush, I can dip one corner in yellow, another corner in blue, and just see what happens. And I'm just gonna smudge that all over around our blossoms and our pot. And you can do any sort of brush stroke. I like kind of just doing the swish and flick, which is like a crisscross, little smudgy smudges. You can do a smooth up and down stroke or horizontal. It's totally up to you, but I like kind of a rough background where it's kind of unfocused, and then I can get more detailed and focused as we come forward with the flowers. So mine's really pale with that white, so I'm gonna wipe off my brush to get off that white paint and rip off my brush head. I need to retire this brush, this poor thing. So I'm just gonna wipe off that extra white paint and pop this bad boy back on the handle. We're good to go. And then, so taking off that white means that I can, oh, there's some of my hair. Beautiful. So taking off the white paint from the brush, I can get more of a bold color. Again, just yellow and blue on my brush. And I can move that around the canvas. And we're just kind of having fun and playing with what kind of background we want. I might grab more blue because I kind of want this corner to be a bit more blue. Just because I want it, no particular reason. And if you're not blending so much anymore, because the white is dry, we can add more white. I'm just gonna try to work as much as I can back here. I do want a little bit more blue. I'm gonna grab some more blue. Get kind of like this really nice blue-green color. So again, I'm just kind of having fun with color, filling all around our background. I'm gonna grab some more yellow and blue this time and just fill in this bottom area here. All right, friends. So that's basically what I have. I've got, you know, the blossoms are ready to roll. I've got the pot ready to roll over there. And now what I'm going to do, because I really like the sketchy texture that I've got going on in the sketch here. I want to try to recreate that on the canvas. So I'm just going to grab some more blue. I'm not going to be shy here. Yeah, I want to get some of that rough texture. I kind of like that kind of rough, imperfect kind of stuff happening. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now, down below here, we've got like this pale light green background. Now I'm gonna work on medium green, okay? And then eventually we're gonna get a dark green to put on this foliage. So now I'm just gonna work with a medium green. So at this point I am going to wipe off any excess paint and give my brush a rinse because I want to get that white paint out of my brush. That squeaking is my little cup here. All right, so I'm just gonna rinse my brush to get that white paint out. And I can get that a nice drying. Welcome for those of you who are just joining us. Thanks for being here. I just cleaned my brush. I'm gonna go into blue and yellow again, but without that white, it's gonna be a bit more bold, a bit darker, and we'll see what happens. So all I'm doing here is just building up some of this darker green because that's where our darker foliage will live. So I'm just going to go right up to that pot. I think I'm going to go right up to that blossom. Fill in up in here. Bring some more of that up there. So I'm just bringing this up to a medium, like a medium green, relatively speaking. So medium compared to the green that's already there. Cool. I might go a little darker, so if you want to go just a smidge darker, you can grab some blue and yellow and mix up your green. But then just a smidgy smooch of black will kind of tone that down a bit. And that kind of gives you a different green, a bit darker. And again, I like keeping it full of texture, kind of not perfect. I hope everybody's having a good day today. It's kind of muggy and humid here in State College. So if you got AC, I'm sure you're enjoying that today. All right. I think I'm going to move on to a smaller brush. So I think I'm going to move on to a smaller flat angled brush. I am going to clean this big guy. I'm going to just set him aside. So I'm going to wipe off that excess paint, give that brush a good clean rinse. And I'm gonna move on to a smaller flat angled brush, and I'm gonna make an even darker green. So we've had the light green, we did a medium green, and now I'm gonna go for a darker one for our foliage in the front here. So just some stems and leaves, you know, nothing fancy. So again, I'm gonna grab blue and yellow to get a green going, smidgy smooch of black to get a darker green happening. Cool. All right, so then I'm just gonna, let's see, can I set this right here? Yeah, let's just put that down. So now I'm working on these stems and leaves, and it's nothing really fancy. I can just pull down a stem here and just add some leaves. Gonna need to make more of that green for sure. So blue and yellow, smidgy smooch of black. Let's see. There we go. That's better. I'm gonna make these leaves a little bit bigger. And these are just, I don't know, they're just kind of hanging out there, adding a little interest to our painting. Here, there, everywhere. And they're not perfect. I'm just kind of, again, I like that this painting is kind of sketchy and textured, free flowy. So we've got something like that. Maybe even one coming up over here behind our blossom. Yeah, who knows? You can just have fun adding little things here and there. Alrighty, so we've made that darker green. Now for our stems and leaves of our sunflower, we've got actually a light green. I chose a light green to work with there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to use the pigment that I have on my brush still, but I'm just going to kind of smudge it in with some yellow and see what we get there. Yeah, I kind of like that. So we'll see what happens when I put that down on the canvas. I might need to change it, but we'll see. So there's more of a light green. I might add a little smidgy smooch of white. We'll see what we get. All right, we'll see what happens. This might not show up, but we'll give it a go. All right, so I'm going to give this guy a little stem. He's just kind of drooped right over. So he's got to turn right in there, right into the pot. In you go. You need a stem right into the pot. There you go. I like that. I think that works. And then I also have these two guys. They're shy, they're camera shy, so they're hanging out more over here, and their blossoms are off canvas. I need to make some more of this color. I think that works. I think that color works. All right, so I'm just gonna bring those down. Cool. All right, let's give these stems some highlights. So I'm gonna grab some yellow, maybe even a little smidgy smooch of white. And I'm just gonna add some highlights to the top and left over here. Oops, and the top here. So now I've got a little highlight, and then I can even add a shadow. actually I'm going to do that later because I'm going to use the pot color. The color of our clay pot here is going to be the color of our shadow. You can kind of see that. But we do need to add some leaves for our sunflowers. So I'm going to work up that light green color again and give these guys some squiggly leaves by the base of their blossoms here. Yeah, something like that. Little squigglies. I think that'll do. And just a little dark green, just to kind of add some little dimension and shadow and texture there. Cool. So we've got our nice little setup, and we're ready to put some petals on these sunflowers. Okay. So I'm going to use the. Am I going to use this? I don't know. Yeah, let's use this brush. I'm going to wipe off that excess paint. Give that brush a good clean rinse. I don't want any of that green left in there for our petals. All right. So clean, dry brush. And now I'm going to start with the outer row of petals. And I'm going to be using yellow with white, and that white's going to give that yellow some opacity, and what that's going to do is going to help cover any green that we go over from our background. So a nice bright white, bright yellow, and some white paint. So I'm going to load up there, and I'm going to start with an outer ring of petals. And I'm just going to go all the way around. And the petals don't have to be long at this point, right? And a flat angled brush is really helpful here if you have it. But you can kind of practice and see what kind of brush stroke gives you the best petal. Don't worry if you get a little mixed up over your green. I'm going to do my other blossom as well. For the second blossom, that second blossom is looking off and down to the left. So I'm just going to do this side right along the green edge, right? But then the inner crown will happen more inside the bell of this flower, like this. So if you look in the original, so it's like we're looking into a bell this way. So this is the outer ring here, and the outer ring goes up like that. So if you're like me, you might have some green shining through your petals here, and that's okay. So I'm just gonna go over those again with another coat, another layer, and then you can just kind of add, even go in and add more petals. And I'm gonna actually wipe off my brush. I'm gonna go into just straight yellow now. I'm gonna work with just pure yellow, no white. See if I can get more. Oh yeah, I like that. Get more color going inwards. And I like using a lot of heavy paint, right? Because it can give some texture, like the petals are popping off the canvas, and that's always fun. Get this row down to the leaves here. So again, for this blossom that's coming off this way, I'm going to go bring those petals right into the green leaves there. So basically we've got like 2 rows of petals here. And for our third row, so to speak, we're going to add some orange, okay? So you see as we get closer to the seeds, we've got some orange petals happening. So with the pigment that I have already on my brush, I'm just gonna tap into some red, mix that around. So I have that pigment in my bristles now, and I'm just gonna add a little ring of these orange petals inside there. And for our flower down here, we only see the left ring of those orange petals because of the way the bell of the flower, the head of the flower is situated. So I'm just gonna give that red orange treatment to that one side. But the one that's looking face forward, we can see all of those pretty orange flamed petals there. Cool. All right, so for the centers of these sunflowers, we're basically using a really, really dark color. It's not pure black. It's what I used was red and black to get that darker color. So I'm gonna wipe off my brush here, make sure I get off that excess paint. I don't need to wash it really because that black is it's just gonna overpower any pigment. But I'm actually gonna start with red and add black to it, just a little bit at a time. So something like that. Again, it's not pure black, it's got red in it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my brush like a stamp. I'm just gonna tap, tap, tap in the center of these sunflowers. And you can cover it smooth in that color too, just like paint a layer. You can do that as well. I like to give it a little bit of texture, so I tend to like to do the stamp. There, we've got our sunflower. Cool. Then you can play with that texture because that's always fun. And now I gotta do this little guy over here. Right. Oh, it looks like my video is frozen. Let's see. Did I freeze? All right. Are we good? It looks like I froze for a second there. All right, so once we've got the center of our sunflowers in, I'm gonna start working on the clay pot. And the clay pot color is very, very much related to the center part of our sunflower. So I've basically just added a bit of white and yellow to our sunflower center color to get our clay pot color. So let's play around with that. So here's where I was working on my clay, the center of my sunflower, so red and black, right? So I'm gonna grab some white, and then it gets kind of like purpley. So I'm gonna counteract that purpley with some yellow. And we should be able to get that clay pot color, or something like a clay pot. So that's what I've got, and I'm just gonna fill in that original drawing that we did, right? Just gonna fill that all in. Gonna have to make some more of that. So that, again, that's red with black and white and yellow. There we go. And I'm just gonna fill in that clay pot. As I mentioned earlier, I can use this color to add some of the shadow to our stem. So I'm going to do that, add just a little bit of shadow on these stems. And now on our pot, I want to add some light highlight on the left side and darker low light on the right side. So all I'm going to do is grab some yellow as my highlight color with that dirty brush, and I'm just gonna sweep that on the left side there. Just give it a little line of that yellow to give it some brightness, as if it's getting hit by some light. And then on the opposite side, for a low light color, I can give it a little hit of blue, a little smidgy smooch of blue, and bring that over on the right side. And that'll give me a shadow And then what I even did on the original is I added just a little bit of black to add some more definition to the ridge. So I'm going to grab just a little bit of black and hit under that, the ridge. What do we call that? I don't know. My brain doesn't work anymore. So something like that. That's kind of fun. Add a little shadow here. With that black maybe. I just can't help futzing. Sometimes you just can't help but futz, right? Just want to play with all these little sketchy lines here if you like. Cool! All right. And that's all she wrote on that one. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Please share this video, or let folks know that they can find this video later at Jana Marie Foundation Facebook page in the video section. Also, I will be saving and uploading the video to my own YouTube playlist where all of the paintings that I've been doing over these past few months while we've been in quarantine, I've been putting them all there in a playlist so you can join in when you can. I love seeing your finished products, so if you want to share the photos here in the comments when you're all done, that always makes me super happy. Yeah, this is my last Jana Marie Foundation for the month of May, and those of you who have been following along with me, my schedule will be changing for the month of June, so just stay tuned on my Paint with Jackie page to see what's going on there. I will likely be going to pre-recorded videos because of my schedule. The live video times might not work anymore, so just stay tuned on the Paint with Jackie page. And thank you so much to Jana Marie Foundation for having me over these what seem like many weeks now, since March. Yeah, so it's been really great, and it's been a joy to paint along with you guys and to see all of your painting. And I hope you all take care out there. Be well. This is Jackie from Paint with Jackie, and I'll see you next time. I will, Leslie. I will do that right now. Thank you, Leslie. Bye, guys.